General Kethvar of the Zephyrian Empire stood 12 feet tall, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh lights of the challenge arena. 4 arms, each ending in razor-sharp talons, flexed menacingly as he surveyed the assembled crowd. His species had conquered 47 star systems through sheer brutality and individual combat prowess. No warrior had ever bested him in single combat. The human delegation sat in uncomfortable silence in the viewing gallery. Ambassador Sarah Chen watched through the reinforced transparasteel as Captain Marcus Reed descended into the arena, carrying what appeared to be a small, furry creature in a specialized carrying case. "This is madness," whispered Dr. Elena Vasquez, the expedition's xenobiologist. "Kethvar has killed champions from dozens of species. What can Marcus possibly be thinking?" Ambassador Chen remained silent, but her eyes never left the arena floor. She had learned in her 20 years of diplomatic service never to underestimate human ingenuity. Kethvar's voice boomed through the arena's translation system, his words dripping with disdain. "Human, you have requested to join our empire through the trial of strength. I have agreed to this duel as a courtesy, though your species appears soft." He gestured dismissively with one of his lower arms. "Where is your weapon? Where is your armor? What is that thing you carry?" Captain Reed, a compact man with graying temples and calm blue eyes, set down the carrying case and opened it carefully. Out tumbled a small, golden retriever puppy, no more than 8 weeks old. The tiny creature immediately began exploring the arena floor, its tail wagging furiously as it sniffed at the alien metal. The crowd erupted in confused murmurs. Kethvar's 4 eyes narrowed to slits. "Mock me, do you?" The general's voice carried a dangerous edge. "I will tear you apart for this insult." Reed raised his hand calmly. "General, you demanded I face you with my strongest weapon. This is Buddy." He gestured to the puppy, who had discovered his shoelaces, and was now playfully attacking them. "He represents everything humanity has to offer." Kethvar let out a sound that might have been laughter, but came across as more of a grinding screech. "A helpless creature? This proves your species' weakness." "Does it?" Reed asked quietly. "Tell me, General, in all your conquests and all your trials of strength, have you ever encountered a species that would voluntarily make themselves vulnerable to protect something weaker than themselves?" The Zephyrian paused, confused by the "I" question. Reed continued, his voice steady and clear. "Every human watching this has the same instinctive response to Buddy. We see something small, something dependent, something innocent, and our first thought isn't, 'What can this do for me?' It's, 'What can I do for this?' That puppy represents 10,000 years of human evolution, General. Not evolution of claws or armor or weapons, but evolution of the capacity to care for something beyond ourselves." Buddy, oblivious to the tension, had waddled over toward Kethvar's massive feet. The general looked down in bewilderment as the tiny creature began sniffing curiously at his talons. "You see?" Reed said, taking a step closer. "Strength isn't just about individual power. It's about what you're willing to fight for. Every human ship in our fleet carries not just soldiers, but teachers, doctors, engineers, artists. We explore space not to conquer, but to build something bigger than ourselves. We form alliances not through fear, but through trust." The puppy, apparently deciding that Kethvar was interesting but not immediately threatening, sat down next to the general's foot and looked up at him with bright, curious eyes. "Your species conquers through individual strength," Reed continued. "But strength without purpose is just violence. Humans learned long ago that our greatest achievements come not from standing alone, but from standing together. We domesticated wolves not by defeating them, but by forming partnerships with them. We reach the stars not through conquest, but through cooperation." Kethvar stared down at the small creature by his feet. Something stirred in his chest, an unfamiliar sensation. The puppy's tail continued wagging, and one tiny paw reached up to touch the general's lowest talon. "This creature trusts you," Reed observed. "Without knowing anything about you, without any ability to defend itself, it approaches you with curiosity instead of fear. That's what humans call faith, General. faith in the possibility that strength can be used to protect rather than destroy. The arena had fallen completely silent. Kethvar knelt slowly, bringing his massive frame down to the puppy's level. Buddy immediately began trying to climb into his palm, tail wagging frantically. "In our empire," Kethvar said quietly, his voice no longer booming. "The strong take from the weak. This is different. It's evolution, General, but not the kind measured in claws or armor. It's evolution toward something better than survival. It's evolution toward purpose." The Zephyrian general carefully lifted the puppy in one massive palm. The tiny creature showed no fear, instead trying to lick the crystalline surface of his hand. "And you would fight for this small thing?" Kethvar asked. "To the death," Reed replied without hesitation, "as would every human in our fleet. Not because we're commanded to, but because that's what love means. That's what family means. That's what civilization means." Kethvar stood slowly, still cradling the puppy. "I have conquered 47 systems, human. I have faced warriors with energy blades, plasma cannons, and psionic powers, but I have never—" He paused, watching his buddy curled up trustingly in his palm. "I have never faced anything that made me want to be better than I am." The general looked up at Reed, then at the human delegation in the gallery. "Your trial is complete, Captain Reed. You have shown me a strength I did not know existed. The Zephyrian Empire would be honored to call humanity allies." Ambassador Chen smiled as she watched Captain Reed gently retrieve Buddy from the general's palm. In the arena below, the most feared warrior in 3 sectors was asking detailed questions about puppy care and something called belly rubs. Sometimes, she reflected, the greatest victories were won not by defeating your enemies but by showing them a better way to be strong.